Wow. Okay, I get this like awkward thing every time I press record. I know I talked about this in the last episode I did where I was like, I pressed record and I was like, it's recording, as if I'm somehow shocked that the button has served its function.
Technology is so touch and go. I always talk about how in 2020 we still can't get Bluetooth to just synchronize how it's supposed to. So you should be like,
Yeah.
when something goes right, like the recording option actually does
Yeah.
manifest that way, how it should.
And that is not the voice of God, or is it? I don't know. I guess that's a subjective question. I don't want to get
Your
into
God is dead.
it. But I'm here with Biblegirl,
Hello. Thank you.
the artist formerly known as Biblegirl 666. Now
Yeah.
you're 222.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
That account was a dumpster fire anyway. Let it rot.
What did you do something, or was it just like they just randomly?
No, okay, so it's really convoluted. So the Reader's Digest version of it is like record companies, like for music recording artists, I guess have like these like bots that are able to trace like bits of audio no matter how big or small. And so
Oh,
if
okay.
they like look for a specific track, let's say, and like you use 2 seconds of Taylor Swift, I Did Something Bad, it could not even have her vocal in it. If that algorithm or bot that they use to try and put out these claims to like strike that tweet down is able to catch it, and then it goes to like Twitter to like slap you on the wrist, and then like X amount of times, like then you're suspended. But like they're able to trace back to like 2011. Like it's like arbitrary. So like how would you know to even delete it or take it down in the first place? So there's like no fail safe. So like it just kept happening over and over again. And like I kept asking for help on like Twitter end, and they're like, sorry, we can't help you anymore. We're like legally told we can't. I was like, all right, well, I give up at that point. Like I'm not gonna like get a lawyer and like get an account back.
Well, Taylor Swift needs her 3 cents a stream.
It's true. But it's really any recording label, like Gaga's, Britney's, they all do it.
Yeah. I've noticed too with YouTube, I used to use this like background song, and I specifically look for shit that's royalty free that I can just put that's really like low in the background, you can barely tell. And even that got flagged the other day, and I was like, I've been using this song for months.
Okay, so my trick is that I use Animal Crossing music.
What the fuck? The bops.
I'm not kidding. Like if you're like doing like a little cute vlog and like you need some ambience and like something that's not gonna get like your whole audio stripped off of your video, Nintendo music in general.
Oh god. Fucking 8-bit Nintendo music.
Like adventure music.
I can't. Oh my god, my trash bag dress is here. Do you guys hear that? Yes!
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I am obsessed. We were just talking about the mythical wonders of stretch vinyl in drag and how everybody wears it. And it's not latex. Stop telling us it's latex.
No, latex. Yeah, it's got that translucency, but the vinyl it's not a facing, but it's like a facing on the other side.
It's like a treatment or something, because the inside is like it's like a knit almost in some cases, depending on like
because that's like what helps permit like that more leeway and stretch.
That's why over time the top layer will start to like erode off, and like you can see the underside.
If I didn't know better, I'd think I actually passed my textile classes in college.
Well, I think we did like in costuming class, we did a fabric scavenger hunt, and I think I cheated. So here I am.
Oh my god, wait. I used a friend's textile book that we had to fill out in class. Like we had to like cut and like go to the store and like swatch it and staple them into the book. And I was like, what does this do for us? By the way, like they could just like give us the book with the examples in them, but now it's just like weird busy work. So I was like, sis, give me the book. And like, like after like the semester it ended, when we were going through the roll through, she like passed hers on to me. You don't check.
They were like, you need to know what a jacquard is. And I was like, I just need to know the difference between a knit and a woven and know that I cannot wear wovens.
Right.
That's it.
Right. And now we just need to know what foundations to apply. So it's just how so the little things. Yeah.
Yeah. You just go and you touch it. And if it feels nice, you know, if it's gonna stretch the right way for you, then you just do it. But it just needs to stretch. That's it. That's
4-way or bust.
Oh my god. I've tried to make like a two-way stretch something, but then like if there's a placement on there
Yep.
and I want it to line up a certain way on the pattern, I can't just do it.
Nope, that bias is gonna fuck you so hard.
No. And then I'll be like ripply on one side. I'll look all crazy.
Your
Can't do it.
Jayro's gonna just.
Yeah. And then I just look like I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't want to look like that, even though it's true.
I was gonna say, I mean, I definitely don't know what I'm doing most of the
Oh my
time.
gosh. Do you sew still? Do you ever just like
Okay, so I have a sewing machine in the apartment, and like I like still have that designer itch to do it. I for my boyfriend's sake, I know that I like only thrive in creative chaos. So like as I like am making stuff, it just gets so crazy messy, and like I'm not gonna move anything until like the project is done. So like compounding my cleanup process like doesn't work for me. So I
oh
know
yeah.
like I'm not, so like that's just a compromise that I've made, because I'd rather like live happily with my boyfriend while like still also like able to do drag, but like maybe not able to create as directly. But hopefully in the next apartment, where we're hoping we can find one that has enough space that we can also afford simultaneously,
T.
that I can like actually start bringing back the applications that I learned so long ago, that I know, like I feel it. It's like riding a bike for me. Like I just know it's, wow, I'm an adult now. I understand how to apply this stuff, so I'm ready.
Yeah.
So I wish I could. Long answer, short answer, not right now.
Yeah. We have a one bedroom. So what would be like a dining room is the workspace.
Mhm.
So
I feel that.
eventually we want a two bedroom so we can actually like shut the door and walk away from it at the end of the
Yep,
day.
yep. Hide from work.
Yeah, because if
Mhm.
we do all this from home, so it's like I'm sitting like right now where I'm recording this is between the sectional sofa in the living room that's right here, and then there's a drafting table right here
I
and
totally
sewing
get it.
machines. So it's
Yep.
like,
And that's the
ugh,
thing too, is like, as I feel like you've already been dabbling in digital pre quarantine, like there's been a bit like of a different learning curve. It's more of like adapting further
yeah,
to it long term, right? So I just, that's kind of how my mind has been working in the past couple of months, because I took, I think like I think it's coming on 3 months that I haven't actually done drag itself, but I've been doing a lot more like business end stuff, while simultaneously trying to figure out how long term, once I do return to producing content again for drag, like how to better adapt the apartment long term for like
yes,
however long that's going to be. Like where's a space that I know I can on and off like a light switch, set a green screen up in a lighting rig, that I know it's not going to be like a problem or like
yeah.
my way. um yeah, it's been a very interesting year, hasn't it?
Yeah, we struggle with the same thing. Like we moved in here in February. It's our first like place together. And
Congratulations.
thank y'all. We weren't anticipating the world suddenly ending and then I don't know.
Oh
My
my
income
God.
was like cut in half.
I know.
So, but we were thinking like, okay, I need a space where I can just sit and have the lights set up and I don't want to spend a half an hour to an hour trying to figure out where I'm going to put a backdrop in
I
drag,
love
like hanging shit.
taking the week to premeditate where it's going to go and how you're going to do it also.
Yeah.
That, because it's like that's half the process, and then it's the process is the other half of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's such like a, it's definitely like hard. It's great that you also have a partner there who's like invested in helping and trying to get it to make it work, because like I feel for all the girls who are doing it solo dolo, because it's definitely not easy doing it solo.
No.
Point.
So it's tricky. Now we have like white walls. So this is just like my living room wall and a
Ain't that something
chair.
though?
And
I'm
I
like
got
white
like,
walls,
we got a little box
editorial.
light. We got a ring light. We're good. But it's tricky. But we want to have like that second bedroom where half of it is like his workspace and half of
Yep,
it is me, like lights, backdrop, chair. I just sit down and go. I don't have to worry about.
totally. But I think the restriction also breeds creativity. So like
Yeah.
it's kind of like a fun problem solving process, like as fun as it can be in this situation, to like
Yeah.
figure out how to make it work. It's a very make it work kind of career
Yeah.
right now.
This was very that when I was like at first I was like, okay, I'm not doing virtual podcasts. The video quality is going to be shit. I'm going to look like a crayon drawing. It's not going to happen.
Oh,
And
stop.
then finally I was like, you know what? I could take this and I could run with it, or I could just sit at home and do nothing.
I mean, it's great. It's marketable. And like you were saying earlier, when you started out doing it with your friends, that's the best way to start,
Yeah.
because your friends also have friends who also share the same interests. So it's not even like you're interviewing your friends for a net greater like drawing in of crowd, but it's something organic, which is what resonates with people. And then
Yeah.
that's just how you get yourself on such a great growth trajectory, which like you clearly are, gal.
It's true. I wanted to do it for a long time. And finally I was like, okay, let's just do it. And I started asking people, like other queens that I'd worked with and people that I know I will have fun talking to. And even
Mhm.
now, like if I don't, I research my guests like really like crazy, like Fort Knox style research. I want to make sure like, okay, what's your personality type? Are we going to get along? Are you going to be boring? Am I going to have to work as hard? And I never have an issue. Thank goodness.
You're good. You're good. Ooh, you're like vetting
Oh,
a vice
thank you.
president pick.
I
Ooh.
am.
Ooh.
I should run.
Yeah,
I should actually
absolutely.
just run, just like open the door and go.
Just wear your mask.
Oh, right. Oh my gosh. There was like a time when we were been like, we have like a queue of looks that we do for me. And
Mhm.
so like sometimes I'll do one or like my boyfriend will do one. But when this happened, we were like, should we be making matching masks for all your looks just in case? And I was just like, I don't know.
I mean, why not? I mean, embrace where you are, I guess, if you
I
can.
guess.
Yeah.
But it's so tricky when like my job, part of like what my talent is my mouth, in any way imaginable.
But for marketing purposes, even just like for sake of content, just like putting in that just who knows? I don't
Who
know. It's
knows?
always up to the discretion.
I miss the clurbs.
I miss it. I miss it all. Yeah, I really do. I miss seeing everybody so much. I
I miss
like
getting invited places and then just not going.
that is tea also.
Like, what the fuck? I miss being like, hey, you're gonna be at Mickey's tonight? Girl, no.
I think my going out life like peaked back in 2018 when it was super exciting, and then I went full grandma and just like kind of started to find the balance in my life where it was okay. Work is going to be going out, doesn't mean I'm not going to have fun, because like I
Yeah.
always have fun with work because that's the point. And then on the balance, just like enjoy my time off at home, and like why not go to bed at 10 p.m. even though I'm an insomniac? Force. I know. And this is coming from someone who
Oh
like
my gosh.
3 years ago had no problem staying up until like 5 in the morning. I mean, granted, when it calls for it, it calls for it. But
Yeah. If you're
you
getting
know,
paid, it's easier.
exactly.
You
But
find the energy.
I think these days, like if I'm able to, I try to embrace the ability to to get full sleep. And like what I love about being on the West Coast is even if you can't necessarily do anything right now, there's something nice about waking up really early in the morning here that I feel like definitely differentiates from New York, which is one of the reasons why my boyfriend Chris and I we moved here in the first place like 2 years ago. It's just like it's
Yes.
a different vibe. It like incentivizes you to just like get up and go, you know?
Did you enjoy the drag scene in New York?
Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed it because it really was so differentiated between different districts of the city. And so it was like, if maybe your point of view, if you felt like it didn't necessarily mesh one way, you could try to go a different angle or a different avenue and kind of see where you fell on that specific spectrum. And but there always was a blend too, which was nice. You know, there you would see a definite blend of Manhattan to Brooklyn, Queens versus, or vice versa with Brooklyn to Manhattan. There was always some sort of a blurred line with it. So I think that was definitely one misconception that was perpetuated through televised media. Drag race, but like, oh my god! But not like the worst degree, but just because it was said once or twice, obviously for like a general public consumption, that just becomes the end all be all of what it is. And so I think this idea of there being this like black and white split of the drag subculture within the city was not necessarily what was, again, I don't think that was the reality. I think that was what made it cool, is that it definitely is a melting pot in and of itself, in a melting pot of a city. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And I think there were just like a lot of different venues that lent themselves to having cool parties. I think the hardest part, which definitely differentiates is that the hours were long out there versus here, because like you would be expected to be somewhere like by the venue, not necessarily the party producers, to be at a venue by like 10, but then you'd have to be there to like precedent was like 3:30 was
Oh
like
God.
safe to be like, can I go, and like, it was just kind of that, but that's also just like how the nightlife operates there, and the pay really is tough. It's not a complaining thing, it's just like it's tough for everybody, and that's just something that really I think adds to people feeling this pressure that it needs to be competitive because of how many people are out there as drag artists, and the pay is just like kind of sparse, and when you can get it, it's really not max as it could be, or like respectful to what a drag queen is doing or bringing to the table at a venue. It's not
Yeah.
also, it's not so black and white. There are some venues that get it because the management gets it, or there are some venues that don't because the management doesn't. And you see venues that go down and suffer because they don't understand that drag artists are a massive anchor and a draw to a venue, and are what are creating the atmosphere for a constant customer basis and rotating door of constant clientele throughout a week. So
Yeah.
I think when the balance is off and there isn't a proper conversation between employment, like the drag queens who are really close with all the bartenders versus higher ups in the like ownership or certain GM management, like I think things get lost in translation. So it makes for sometimes a contentious work environment that doesn't need to be that way. So I don't know. It's just like, it's one of those things, but I think that's also just cultural. It could be anywhere, but that was from what my experience was in New York City.
Yeah.
But I feel like LA, I feel like the pay fits amazingly. Like it's always a great atmosphere. It's easy to get to where you're going. Like there were some venues that I would work out far and like just really far out from where I lived, and like the ride itself would end up being like an hour 15 to the venue, and then you're making $60 to be there for 6 hours and you're paying for the rides. It's just like it's just like a different hustle. But I think none of this is a complaint. It's just certainly just like an anecdote of experience because I appreciate it at the same time, because I don't think without that hard of a hustle or experience, I would be as how I feel I am to be well equipped with where I am with my drag or like with my business in general today. And I feel like it just kind of forced me into spaces that were going to be uncomfortable, but it forced me to have to prove to myself that it was something that I wanted. And I just, like I appreciate that challenge. So
Yeah.
I don't think it was, I never want it to come off like I'm shitting on New York drag, because I appreciate New York drag. New York drag taught me everything I know. And New York drag is like where I understood and became a drag queen and got to experience so much like queer upbringing. And I think there was a point where like when I crossed over and started doing drag, it's like the curtain gets pulled back a little bit. So like the business side kind of creates a bit of disillusionment from like what actually is an amazing fantasy. Like you can walk over a threshold and have the most
Oh
amazing
yes.
night of your life. And like, everyone that goes, you talk to anyone that goes to the Rosemont and, they just had the best fucking night of their life because those girls will serve you a fucking fantasy. And I think they're just one of many examples in the Brooklyn scene specifically that breeds those incredible, amazing spaces for queer people to come into. But I think one thing, and I don't want to speak for anybody, but I think from where my experience always was and working shows with girls who also thought the same way, was that the amount of work that I went into bringing that fantasy wasn't always necessarily met to a street with support from like a venue. And like people wouldn't necessarily see all like that hard work that really does go into it. So like when things seemed like when bars go down and stuff and like people don't understand why, it's like because of that lack of synergy for wanting to really necessitate and nurture the amazing culture that is there. So I never wanted it to seem like I'm shitting on the scene or what that or like the art that actually is there and that does exist there. I think because of my disillusionment from the numbers, let's call it that side, and
Oh
see like
yeah.
how it all tertiarily, if that's the right word of usage, breaks down in like the family tree of who's at what tier. That I think is what makes it difficult as someone who's still working as a drag artist to like, it was always hard towards the end of when I was moving there because rent is so expensive to really justify that working in the field, because it wasn't as gratuitous or sustainable. So like that was something that was always hard, and because I knew how it was operating, at least for me and a few other girls at the time, that was definitely something that I was like, that's tough.
Yeah. It's tricky here too, because there's also that same sort of hierarchy
Of course.
where you have to take whatever time it takes you to climb that ladder, and you're not going to make money. If
Mm-hmm.
you do, it'll be like $50 and you'll spend $100 on a wig,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then once you reach that ladder, you have to reach it as quickly as you can, but not too quickly, because then the girls in the community don't think you deserved it.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
it's like,
I know that one.
girl, yeah. I
That
had
one.
I had that happen. I had a similar experience with that where I worked my way up to get to a certain level, and I got there. It took me like 2 years, which I thought was great, a reasonable amount of time. I didn't want to like shit on my own privilege, because obviously there was some privilege involved, I'm sure. But at the same time, the intersection of opportunity, luck, talent, and
It's always
awareness.
convergence. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was listening for the call. I was ready, and I had worked hard to get to that point. So I did it, and I thought somehow there would be like some sort of like, I thought, oh my God, once I get to this level and I'm doing this gig and I get this like fee, then I'll be okay. I can use this to leverage other opportunities. And when I finally got to that point, it was a month of just silence, no bookings, nothing. I like completely dead. And finally, I was talking to a friend of mine about it who's also like involved in the community, and they were like, I think that there's a very strong chance that maybe people feel like you didn't work as hard, or you didn't do the right things to get to that point. And some of us took a really long time, and some of us are still not there.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe we think, there's a little bit of that sort of like unfairness involved, which I hadn't thought about because privilege.
Right.
So, but at the same time, was I supposed to just not take the opportunity because you hadn't like, it's not about you. I'm like, we're all looking out for ourselves.
Well, again, I think it all comes down to context of the situation. If you
Yeah.
were presented an opportunity and it was directly to you, I think it's hard to hypothetically. I mean, speaking as a I'm not to presume anybody's race or nationality. I apologize, but speaking as my own, as like a white person, like my first instinct is like, if I'm presented an opportunity, I like, oh, do you want to apply for like this gig or like this commercial or this ad thing? I tend to nowadays just decline, and in some cases I'll just like nominate other people and be like, I think these are better fits, and like they'll be not white performers, just because like I think in like my case like that, I'm like maybe I don't need that right now. Like that's not the platform I need. I think in terms of like gigs and stuff, like for example, Diana Jacketov asked me to do her bingo gig. Like, I haven't worked in 3 months. I'm gonna take like I'll take it. Like I miss working, and like I miss my community. But I think for my experience, that's how I can speak to it. But yeah, I don't know.
That's why
I don't know. I think we all try our best though, right? Like
yeah.
I think that's truly what it comes down to also, is like intent. Like it's not like you're maliciously trying to beat out anybody.
No, I wasn't taking anything from everyone. I was like, there's room for everybody. I was trying to be everybody's friend.
Yeah, I think that's how I think drag should be approached. And I think that's something that has also been a con, let's say, of drag becoming more of a mainstream thing, is that like I feel like viewers who now vis-a-vis have become drag queens, which is a totally okay, normal phenomenon, because we can all speak to that. Like we grew up watching Drag Race, so naturally there's like a bit of like some conditioning that we all have tried to work ourselves out of. But I think the problem is like general public consumption is that like it has to be some competition. And I think that's something that makes it really hard for like girls like you and I to really establish ourselves into an industry like that, because maybe other people are perceiving it that way, or maybe even people like ourselves are trying, like coming to that, like, is this how I want to,
Yeah.
I don't know, or are they seeing it like that? I don't know. And it just like kind of sometimes makes it a very tricky eggshell walk of a situation, I think.
Yeah. I think about how wonderful it would be if we all got along and helped each other.
I think it's all about uplifting. I'm big
Are
on
you kidding me?
collaboration. I think, and that's something like with dragqueenmerch.com, like we've something I've tried to make the mission statement, and it's like in the document that we send when people are signing on. It's like, we're non-exclusive. Like, you can work with whoever you want. Why would we own you? Like, the more the merrier. If you want to work with another queer business or someone else that you want to have produce some merchandise, go for it. Do it.
Yeah.
And like we even have collaborated with other merchandise companies too, because even if we're like in the same industry, it doesn't need to be competition. We're still in a niche category of queer merchandising and queer business marketplace in general. So like, why would we start to snuff out other people in something that's supposed to be thriving and supposed to continue booming, especially at a point where e-commerce is clearly not going to go away at any point soon. So like, why, right, especially right now during pandemic,
Yeah.
it's like,
It's
why
all we
would
can
you take
do.
out, like what does that accomplish? Like, why not present opportunity or engage with opportunity to collaborate with anybody and everybody? And that's also something like, even with clientele on the website, is that we just look to bring on the more the merrier. That's something that I've tried to be stringent on, is stop, not, it's the vetting process is like, obviously we're going to check you out, but like there's not like there doesn't need to be a prerequisite. Like, what does that accomplish? Like, like, if you want merchandise and you want to establish legitimacy and you want to start branding yourself, then get the hell on the website. Come on, like, bring it on. Like, I'm not gonna, why am I gonna stop someone's coin or stop, like, more the merrier. So I don't know. I'm with you. I don't think there needs to be a point of competition in the industry.
But that's why I'm sitting here in underwear and flip-flops and a dress in my house, just like minding my business.
Yeah.
But I do miss certain aspects of like being in the club and like performing in front of people. A lot of what I do is very people-driven performance-wise. I'm not the kind of queen that can just play a song and dance.
Yeah, no,
I like to interact.
That energy. Yeah.
So,
and it's like we're there to be the clowns.
Yeah. It's so doing a digital show, like I've done a couple, and each time it's like, I mean, it's fun, but like I miss the spontaneity of like a person getting drunk and running up to the stage, and suddenly I'm like, okay, I guess you're in the number now. We're gonna improvise our way through this.
Yeah, there's like that rock and roll element to like just kind of girding your loins every time you're on stage, and you're like, all right, here we go. And like,
oh my god, there's a large piece of furniture. How can I get up and down on that thing safely?
Yeah, give it like a ooh, very, very that.
Yeah.
Room service gets me through it with that, I'll tell you.
Oh my god, I miss that shit.
So much. But now I'm very privy to a good like old Ashley Simpson on SNL on a digital drag show, and call it good.
She's like one of my pop icons from childhood. I had I think it was like 7th grade, I had a whole wall of my room covered in her pictures.
Oh my god.
I was that kind of gay.
Did you watch her? Was it the MTV show?
I used to record it on VHS tapes. Remember when you could record over a VHS?
Yeah.
I would find like old shitty Disney movies and be like, fuck this, I'm gonna record the Ashley Simpson show.
Making your own cover art and swapping out the paper cover.
Yeah. I was fully like a 12-year-old child, just like the thing. Yeah, I used to do that all the time. Once I learned how to record shit, I would just use the VHS tape and just record things that I wanted to watch.
Oh my god, you're techie through and through, in your blood.
I was like,
I love that.
My jewelry.
Red wire, red wire.
I was like hot wiring school buses and shit.
Hell yeah.
No. Well, now I use it all to, cross dress for money, which is great.
It's a way of life.
But the internet has always been, ever since the MySpace days for me, it's always been like I can like present something to people in a digital way, and I can grow myself.
Yeah, down
and it's
to
like
email code.
Oh, do you remember the MySpace HTML situation where everybody knew a little bit of code?
bitch, you couldn't tell me I was hacking into the Pentagon. It
Girl,
was so fierce. I'm sure I could pick it up again if I really tried. But like,
I used to have a MySpace layout site where I would make layouts for people. It
wild. That
was a mess.
committed.
And I would like do the thing where you make your profile skinny and you hide everything.
Oh
So
yes.
your profile's just a box with the
No,
link
she was
underneath.
the scene train, wasn't she?
Yes. And then you would put a table, like an overlay on top of your profile, and you would fill
Yep.
it up with whatever you wanted so it looked like a website.
Hide your music player.
Yes! People can't pause that shit.
Hell
People
yeah.
can't pause all my shitty Jeffree Star music that I used to listen to.
Eyelash curlers and butcher knives, baby.
Iconic. I still listen to that sometimes at the gym. I'll be like,
wow. I can't believe how, like, I mean, talk about, I know she is Jeffree, but like, what
yeah.
longevity is.
I mean, there's something to it.
Yeah.
Problematic as she may be.
It's fierce. It's something.
I struggle with that whole thing a lot because like I'm so sick of the bullshit and the buffoonery and having to like feel like, oh God, I'm wearing this makeup and I feel so stupid because this person is so like, I don't know, crucified. I don't know. It's just, I feel weird wearing it.
If you own the makeup, don't throw it out. A friend of mine had a great idea, and she was saying how she was depotting everything and putting it into like a custom palette. So it's like a little less like filthy, but it's, it's not wasteful. So you're not just like setting your own money on fire, like, and the product then it's wasted. So like, I think there are tactful ways of going about it. There are plenty of dupes. So it's, it's just about like where you want to support and how you want to support, or who you're being sensitive to and what market. And I think I saw the interesting point of like, or I don't remember who said it, but it was like no one's truly canceled. It's like who dependent on who is buying the product. So
yeah,
I think it comes down to everyone's personal like point of view. For me, I'm sensitive to the Black community feeling, or like, I'm not saying anyone is insensitive for purchasing the makeup. What I am saying is like, for me, I'm trying to be sensitive as a white person to listen to Black voices or people of color, otherwise voices, who are saying, hey, this person has offended me, please don't support them. So instead, like, I just like go down an alternate route. Like, I'm not going to throw out stuff that I've been gifted or that I have purchased in the past, but like now I just like won't in the future. And that's just like how I can better curtail my money to help a cause that really matters. So that's just something, I think that's just like what I, again, as a white person can do to like put a little bit of effort and like do what I guess for me is just like a little bit, but like on top of what else I'm also doing.
Yeah, I feel the same way. If somebody was like, you should all go throw away your shit, I'm like, first of all, who's going to buy me new shit so I can do my job? If you tell me I should throw it away.
At this point, right.
They already have my money. Mm-hmm. Let me use my I thought about making a casserole out of my eyeshadow palettes and doing like a YouTube video with a recipe.
That's really funny.
Or I do like lipsticks for sauce and like.
I like that. I mean, if the stuff's expired.
Or I'll just put it in the dryer and just watch what happens to the palettes. We'll see. I don't know. I don't, and it wasn't like I was using the shit every time. Well, I probably was actually, now that I think about it. But like I own Juvia's Place, lots of like Urban Decay, lots of really great, like MAC is really great. There's plenty of other options.
Yeah, I think that's just like the biggest thing is like, if, I think it's putting money where your mouth is, for lack of a better term, I suppose. Yeah. And just like, if you're going to walk the walk, talk the talk, or vice versa. And that's, again, I think something that I can do for just like where I am or like what my walk is. So it's one tiny step that I think many, many white people should probably follow in.
Yeah.
But I mean, we bought into those products because we knew the quality was there and for what our job
so good.
did. So like, I mean, it comes down to context. It doesn't excuse or absolve Jeffree of his garbage behavior that he does deserve the criticism of. There's no like beating around the bush of that. And we as consumers can just aim to do better. And if anybody has been offended in the process by any of our purchases, then we just apologize for that insensitivity, no matter how direct or indirect. And we just, again, I think I've said it many times now, we just try our best. We're doing our best.
Yeah. It's hard. And the internet and the way, especially now that like that's all we have. I was always like constantly online posting. People say, "Oh, they have the term social media queen." I don't really necessarily identify as that because you could still come see me have a great time in the club. But like being able to leverage the internet is a huge skill. But now that we're in like isolation, it becomes like a mental health situation for a lot of us. Do you know the term doom scrolling?
Yeah, where it's just like never ending and you're just
Yeah.
stated. Yeah.
I just discovered that whilst doom scrolling the other day. I was
Oh.
like, huh, and I saw an article someone had shared, but I realized like I will get caught up in just the negativity of like and seeing all these awful things, and I just keep scrolling, and I know I don't feel good, and I can like cognitively say this doesn't make me feel happy, but I still am just like mindlessly scrolling.
You know, it's the doctors, I guess, have said it, and we've all been, no way. There's no way we could be addicted to social media, but we're all addicted to social media. And I think there's definitely like a subconscious narcissism component to it that we all just have to like learn how to tune into and like figure out how and when to turn it off at the best times. And that's something that I completely agree, and like I understand like what you experienced, because I'm sure like others, like I've experienced it as well, where you just it just feels like the walls are crashing in on you. It doesn't matter what the context of the doom and gloom is, but it's everywhere. So like it just kind of is everything feels very existential, like, oh my God, what the hell? So I've made the real concerted effort of taking a lot of off time from social media. As someone who like, yeah, I'm one of those social media queens. I feel you on that, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like I had to step away, and like it didn't mean that I wasn't paying attention or like doing my research or watching what was happening. It was like I just needed to stay out of a constant refreshing cycle of things, you know. And I think because of that immediate access that we have to new information at the swipe of our own thumbs, like really kind of it perpetuates like a never-ending doom cycle, right? And
it does.
So addicted to that process, I'm gonna get real armchair therapist psychologist here for a second.
Do it.
So I think what the stat is it takes, I think it's 3 weeks to form a habit. So we obviously use social media day in, day out, not in like chunks or blocks or windows of time. If you want to go even bigger, we use our phones on a larger scale specifically, right? So because that we're not blocking out that window of time, it's this never-ending cycle. So think about how ingrained, and because all of us do it, it's hard, and I could be totally wrong here, but this is just like how I've been able to like, I guess, rationalize my stepping away. It's like we're all so ingrained, or I was so ingrained even, in just having my phone like the other appendage, just, you know, and we're just used to it, especially we're heading into mid-August in 2020. So like naturally we're gonna have like our phones kind of velcroed to us. It's just kind of human nature in 2020 and beyond, I suppose. And because of that immediately just grants us access to that doom cycle. And because we're so in it and so binded by that day in and day out perpetuated, oh my God, I gotta be on this, I have to do it, I have to say something, I got, you know, it's like, it's really like, sometimes it feels very urgent. Like for me, like it was like, am I gonna put my 2 cents in right now? Should I? Maybe I'll save it in the draft. And like, so like when it starts getting to that point for me too, I'm just like, you know what? My voice really doesn't matter at this point as a white person. So like I can still take in information and also take the time to educate myself on things that maybe I need more education on, because I'm not the end all be all source of knowledge on all social progress and justice. So that's just like something for me where like I tried to flip how I was going to take my time off of social media and like end my doom scroll and my doom cycle, because
Yeah.
there came a point in like maybe beginning of July where it was just like I felt like I was running a marathon before I even woke up, you know. And I used the term on a podcast that I do with my really good friend Lolo. I said it feels like I was eating Twitter for breakfast, where it's like you scroll over, you turn on your phone, and like you refresh your Twitter immediately before you
Yeah.
what's on your fucking newsfeed. And like because of for me or anybody else who does that, it's like it feels like there's just no chance to even breathe in your day because you just immediately set off that already perpetuated never-ending process or
Yeah.
cycle. Does that make sense? I feel like I
Yeah.
know I like word vomit a lot, and that's like definitely like a hindrance, I feel like in most
No,
cases.
I
But
think about this all the time.
okay, yeah, because like this is like I've taken a lot of reflection time. Like in these also 3 months that I haven't necessarily done direct drag, it's like between education and listening, I've also done a lot of just reflection in general and things about like how long term I myself as a person am going to be able to adapt to this way of life that we all are going to have. For me, I'm a hypochondriac and like think I'm going to die every single day, and I'm also a
Same.
germaphobe. So
Oh
both of these
God.
factors compounded are like it's like this is my apocalypse. Like I'm experiencing like my worst nightmare. So like when the switch flipped, I've basically become a shut-in, right? So
Yeah.
like I just know that like we're not going to be out of this until like probably mid 2021. So like I'm just kind of buckling up for the long haul and knowing that for my own self-care, so I don't drive myself up the wall, I need to like do my reflection and figure out how I'm going to be able to sustain and make it through this, because this shit is nuts.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But there is power in saying, I'm gonna put my phone in this room
Yes.
and I'm gonna shut the door and I'm gonna go just watch a movie.
Yep. Yep.
Amazing.
I'm like a big Nintendo nerd, so like I've got my Switch on deck at all times. So like I have gotten really good at starting the process of like forgetting where I even put my fucking phone because I
Yeah.
immerse myself in something else. Just and it's like I'm still doing my news consumption and still staying abreast and like making sure there's time allotted like with my coffee or something, but then like I don't just like keep an MSNBC on or keep scrolling through my online publications. I like step away, put my phone on the charger because I can never keep it above 20%. You know, Apple flipped that switch a long time
Oh
ago.
yeah.
And so now it's just like it's all about delicate balance, I think. And that's again to my experience. And I've definitely someone who's just like I feel like I'm the embodiment of an Italian greyhound. I just like I'm like always just
Yeah.
on edge all the
Oh my
time.
gosh.
I've
Same.
noticed like my internal Richter scale has definitely like settled a little bit, and I think I'm, and that doesn't mean I'm gonna stop my reflection. And again, it doesn't mean that I'm like the end all be all like guru of Zen. Like it's like this is a process, and this is something that I thought maybe I had a cap on, but you know, this is like opening a wound for me because it's all of my anxieties happening in real time in the world. So
Yeah.
like I'm just like now I gotta figure out a lot of shit that maybe I didn't think I needed to.
Yeah. We're all left alone with our thoughts. Whereas before we could have just like gone to work or gone to do this thing or gone to do this thing and
Yeah,
distract ourselves. Now we have nothing really to stop those
we're
thoughts.
forced to sit on our hands, which is not
Yeah.
easy in our generation.
No. But I also like before like I have like one point person outside of my home that I choose to see regularly during this time, which I think is a valuable thing to have because it's nice that I can like see this person and we can just go for a walk around my building for like an hour or just go sit outside and talk and we don't have our phones and we're just people talking. That to me is like more than anything in the world. I would not want to make any amount of money in the world if I can't have like moments like that.
Totally.
Because
No,
that's like what I live for. That's why I do this.
that's human experience. Like, and
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite parts about drag. Like, whether it was, I mean, it's how I made so many friends in New York was just like people who were in the bar and like I was gigging and like there
Yeah.
was just a click. It didn't like it all just meshed. And it's the same way even out here or anywhere that I've traveled. You just never know who you're gonna meet, where you're gonna meet them, and like how like what their impact on your life long term is going to be. And that's like something to thank drag for, is that human experience. And I think that goes back to even what you and I were both talking about earlier, is like it should be the more the merrier concept, and like meeting and enjoying and celebrating community rather than putting up a wall and creating this point of contention or argument or competition or just overall contention. Whether it's with performer to audience member, vice versa, or performer to performer, it's just like you just never know who you're gonna meet where. And I think that's really cool about what we get to do. So it's hard to be able to.
It's so hard.
So hard.
We are approaching the halfway point already.
Hey.
And I want you to know we've gone through 2 things on my list.
Oh my God.
But this always happens where like I build these like elaborate out, especially if it's somebody that I have not actually sat and had a conversation with like socially. I always like over prepare, and I'm like, okay, I know the odds are we're not gonna need this, but we'll come back shortly. If you are watching, comment down below how gorgeous I look. Lie if you have to. I don't give a shit. We need that engagement. Also, if you're listening, enjoy this message from our lucrative sponsor. It's usually just me like making fake commercials for things. Yeah, it's fun. But it's great. Okay, so we'll be back in just a few short moments. Don't go anywhere. Obviously, we know you have nowhere to be, so there's no excuse. We'll be right back.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, hey girl, it's me, Jordan Jayro, the host of Hey Girl with Jordan Jayro. And you're watching an official commercial break for this podcast. And what does that mean? Well, probably nothing at all. But as you know, this podcast is currently not sponsored by anyone in particular, so I just do the commercials myself. But there are still several other ways that you can support the program: by subscribing on iTunes, leaving a cute little review and giving me 5 stars, by following me everywhere so you know when new episodes are out, and sharing them with your friends, because literally that's free. Anyways, that's all. Let's get back to the show. Come on. Wow.
Well,
we're back.
Hi.
I just did some cartwheels through a crosswalk, but don't worry, I wore a mask the whole time.
I got a full show.
Yeah, it was something else.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have $1. I don't do money in quarantine.
Oh, well, I put my Venmo on the screen.
Okay.
Oh gosh. I've done digital shows. Actually, there was one show where I actually made really cute tips. I remember that, and I was like, what? Why are people doing this? It was very nice though.
There was one in particular where I was like, oh. And then the rest are like, oh. Not so great.
Yeah, but I never go into it expecting anything. So when I get like $5, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm happy that people were there to watch. It's like it's about the money, but it's not about the money at this point.
Yeah, if I relied on that money to survive, I'd be living under like an overpass or something.
Yeah. I'm just happy to be connecting with people still in 2020.
Yeah, sometimes it's an honor just to get an invitation somewhere.
Yeah, seeing a comment add to the scroll with your name in it is all I need to feel.
Yeah. I do need to talk about something very important.
Let's do it.
I need to discuss your brief music career. Where's the album? We're waiting.
It's a personal project of mine. It's coming. It's in the works. I really promise it'll be here soon. It's just, like I said, it's a really personal project of mine, and I open my heart and soul in the lyrical content, and you'll just have to wait and see.
And the lyrics are just like, pussy so wet, daddy gonna drown.
Yeah,
like, just stupid shit.
Gussy pussy, gooshy, ooshy. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's like Christina Aguilera's Bionic, and she's all, I think it was just too ahead of its time for some people.
I mean, yeah, well, I was referencing, there was this in-between period between Bionic to Lotus, where we know Lotus wasn't her best work, but like super cut that I wish I could find it. I tried looking for it the other day, but it used to go around on Twitter where it was like, was like 30 different takes over the course of like 3-4 years, and she'd be like, my album, it's coming, I promise, really soon. I'm pouring my heart out. And so like, but the one thing that I've always noticed with pop albums is the second someone dubs it my most personal work to date, it's a certified tank.
Oh,
Every
God.
single time. I mean, granted, they'll chart, but like longevity wise, not so much.
Yeah. We saw it with Art Pop, where she was like, it'll come out soon. It's very deep, very personal.
Britney Jean, I think, is categorically like that is like her, that was being branded as her most personal work, and she's saying about 25% of the album.
Yeah.
Good
And
time.
I still blasted that shit. I still listen to it. But like,
Yeah, I'm very much in like the 3% that like even qualify it as a Britney album, let alone a decent Britney album.
I still am so like impressed by how Blackout became like the critical album that it was, when maybe
Yeah.
it wasn't the best time for her to make one.
And it's the only one that she executive produced.
Yeah. It sounded amazing.
Yeah. A woman above the trend. That's why I love
can't.
her.
It's so good. Did
Yeah.
you listen to Chromatica?
I love it. I think it's such an amazing project. I think how her and her team have adapted to quarantine PR rollout has been stellar. I think the single choices were great. I thought even before we knew anything about the album outside of Stupid Love, I thought Stupid Love was an amazing lead single for whatever was to come. I think it's been a great era for her, and I wish we weren't robbed of the Coachella set she was gonna do. I wish we got to see her drag performance with Ariana. That was supposed to happen apparently last week, but safety as a safety does, stems to rules. So
I don't make the rules.
and but we gotta follow those rules for safety's sake. So yeah, I think all things aside, like I think the album is really amazing. I like how it tells its story. It reminds me a lot of Khalees's Flesh Tone, just how it's like set up with different interludes and segues, and I just think it's also, I'm not saying she copied, I have always had this theory that things happen in like cycles of 10 years. And so like that's how history repeats itself. And so it's not that it's not a direct copy sonically. It just reminds me so much of how Flesh Tone by Khalees is set up. And themed. It's just a very interesting parallel. I think that they go hand in hand. But I think Chromatica is a really strong project nonetheless.
So good. I love how conceptual it is. Everything that she does, there's always like a visual identity and an era.
Yeah.
I love like when pop stars have eras. Like Britney had eras.
Reinvention is like, that is like what I live for. Like Reinvention gets me so hyped for the girlies. Like I love seeing what they bring every single time.
That's how Madonna is able to stay doing her shit decades later. Mm-hmm. It's important every year or something. You gotta like keep it fresh.
Yeah, like I think Madonna is like the one that I hold. I know that she didn't create eras or reinvention, but I think she definitely was someone who hedged it and forged how to do it in her way. And I think every time I think of Reinvention, she did the Reinvention tour. I think it was for, I don't know if it was for American Life or if it was to promote American Life, which is not everyone's favorite album, but I think it's amazing for what it is.
It's like one of my favorite Madonna albums.
It's in my top 3. I mean, American Life is incredible. And I think that, to me, I think American Life defines the reinvention concept of pop stardom. And I think that also it's a very interesting narrative that I feel like that album specifically creates too. Like, like Hollywood obviously resonates lyrically, like with its content and what it speaks on. And I think that was also a turning point for her, where she gained such a disdain and disillusionment for her own industry and started to be like, maybe I should have paid attention to some red flags that maybe I didn't want to be in this for so long. And, I think that also, I think the idea of her presenting that through Reinvention of what her voice was going to be is so interesting to me.
it's like I listen to it and I feel like it's like a satirical almost parody of the artist she had become to the public eye. She
Yeah.
became a pop star, that like the way her voice was edited and the way the music was written, even like Hollywood, it tells that story of like, this is me, pop star, packaged together,
Down to
listen.
the video. The video like illustrates it so well. And like I think that is a perfect case of where like video aids the actual like song and track itself, and kind of creates this harmonious identity of what the message is and makes it so clear. And I just think I think American Life truly, even in the parallel of like 2020, just withstood the test of time of like the topicality and what it speaks on, even outside of reinvention. And I think that's a testament to Madonna herself in general. I can't knock Madonna. She's one of my favorites.
Yeah. I still like, I listen to the MDMA album constantly. So
Yep.
good.
Yep. I like the weirder side of Madonna. Like
Yeah.
I like millennium Madonna, or like just pre-millennium Madonna. Like, music is great, obviously, but then you get your American Life, and then that's when you get Confessions. Like, I feel
Oh
like
my God.
one had to happen before the other for the next to
Yeah.
actually happen. And everything with her always has a reason, which is why I pay attention to a lot of things that she says, albeit sometimes she says really stupid things.
I have to remind myself that she is like an old white woman. Yeah.
She doesn't know it all, and she's not the arbiter of all that is proper and just. But I think a lot of things that she speaks to in her own experience as like an entertainer or a woman, even, I think are really important things to listen to or to pay attention to, because I think she has definitely poured her heart and her truth out into what she puts out into her records. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of those experience can lend a lot of power to those of us who are able to consume what she puts out. Not in every case, but I think in a lot of cases, things that she's discussed, like in American Life, are really important.
Have you seen her live?
Yes, I
Is
saw.
it iconic?
Okay, so my mom raised me on Madonna, so like Madonna
Same.
like resonates very hardcore for me, and so I'd never seen her until it was the MDNA tour, actually.
That was so good.
Yeah, and so for my mom's birthday, my mom had never seen her live in all of like her like true blue, like since like debut album Madonna like fandom, never got to see her. So like I was like, oh my God, I'm also a Madonna fan. Like, let me just get my mom and I tickets for her birthday. And like, it's a win-win, but like I want to make my mom happy too. So like we got to like stand out at Madison Square Garden at the MDNA tour, which was like
Aw.
amazing. But then I didn't see her again until last year, which was for the Madame X tour, and it was awesome. I
Was
really
it?
like Madame X. Yeah, it's
Okay.
super cool. I know there's like some misses on it, and I know like there's like definite like some like lyrical like, but like there's I think overall its messaging is close enough to still be enjoyable, and I think what she's saying makes sense to a degree. I don't, again, Killers Who Are Partying is definitely the throwaway there, but yeah, because she says some really weird shit on that. But there's other great songs and messaging, and I think Batuka is like a really strong track, and I think if I mean she brought on the Madame X tour, she brought all of the women who were still a part of that Batuk music group that
Yeah.
played in Lisbon. They were of lineage of like the original slave trade, and so like there's so much culture that I feel like Madonna highlighted versus fully trying to co-opt on the album, and I think brought a lot of that art and the history of where that art and culture was derivative from to light through Madame X, which is why I feel like, yes, like viscerally and drive-by, we can like look at the album and be like, whoa, what was that? And like the 1-2 cha-cha-cha, like, yeah, it's going to be a little campy and a little kitschy and a little weird because it's Madonna, but I think the messaging and on Amazon, their streaming service, there's like a really great behind like making of the album that's like half an hour that really goes through like the creative process and how like she really did go out of her way to involve a lot of like the sound production to be recorded by those women that she also simultaneously was highlighting the culture of from Lisbon, where she recorded the album in its entirety. So like there's a lot of like interesting cultural ties that I think the topicality of like why she left America and why she felt that like Lisbon was a better place to raise a family and to like absorb a very specific culture as an artist, and again without co-opting it or like creating this like weird white knight complex that sometimes she can be criticized of being. I think this album retains a level of art that I feel like a lot of people glaze over because they go, oh, it's Madonna. But I think if you really look at it and what it actually contains, I think it's an actual special piece of work that highlights a culture that otherwise I for sure didn't necessarily have the breadth of understanding or knowing of its existence. So it brought me into wanting to learn more about it and being able to appreciate it. And I feel like that's something that her consumer market otherwise could also do too. So I don't know. I'm sorry I rant a lot. I get very passionate.
No, I'm the same way with like I sit and I think about like these pop cultural phenomenons, especially Madonna. My mom like was the biggest Madonna fan. My earliest memories of music was listening to Secret on the radio.
Yeah.
That whole album.
Yeah.
Like I still listen to bedtime stories and it takes me back.
Totally.
It's crazy.
It is. It is. I think she represents a lot to a lot of people, which is again a testament to her power, what she's been able to accomplish, and again, not without her own fault either. So, but it's okay to appreciate someone if intention is always good.
Yeah. And she kind of like led us straight to like Britney, who was and still is like America's sweetheart.
Totally. We gotta protect that woman at all costs.
I don't know. I just saw yesterday, she had said at the end of Britney, for the record, somebody had asked her a question and she said, I'm going to write a really great book one day.
Yep.
And now I saw it's being alleged that she is really actually doing that.
I love that you pulled that for the record reference, because I watch For the Record maybe like 10 times a year. I have two,
I love it.
2 copies of it on DVD. God forbid one gets scratched and they're like impossible to find. Like that's how much of a nut job I am about that documentary. I feel like it's really
my favorite thing.
It's my favorite.
I've seen Chaotic so many times. I can't like go back to that space of Britney where she's talking about time travel and shit.
Yeah.
But For the Record is like, I hate she even mentions it where they keep saying it's some sort of a comeback, and she's like, I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I was just taking time.
That's like the fucked up thing is like, and to me, like paying attention to like how everything has kind of evolved to where she is now, that piece, that For the Record project is really hard to come by these days, but I also don't think it's a coincidence considering it's the last actual time that we've been able to get such a candid, lucid interview from Britney herself.
Yeah.
And that was only a couple of months after her conservatorship had been instituted, which means that wasn't shortly after she had been put under that 5150 hold where people were claiming she was insane and lost her mind, and therefore also like maybe a little over a year from after she had shaved her head. But you watch that, and again, shaving your head, I should clarify, doesn't mean you're crazy, and she even clarifies that in For the Record. But because of a woman and because of our misogynistic component of society, everyone just wanted to see someone who was put up on a massive pedestal fall, and that's still a concept that bears repeating. We see it on Stan Twitter all the time, right?
Yeah.
So like, but with someone like Britney, she is kind of for me is someone, a martyr who like wasn't asking to be put in that position, and like instead kind of had her hand held to the flame. And you see that, you hear her talk about it in For the Record, which is why, again, I don't find it a coincidence that it's almost hard. It's like next to impossible to find unless you find it in like some like media locker with like a password. It's like it's nowhere to be found. And it's because she keeps equating the conservatorship to Groundhog Day, how she doesn't understand how like people who do things that she did in that previous year did exactly what she did and were never put into a conservatorship.
Yeah.
Or how she says like I think she equated it to being like she's in a prison in her own home or something.
Yeah.
And
She
that was
talks
only
about,
a
like,
few
being
months
caged
into
in.
it. Yeah, and so now think about that on the grander scale of it being 12 years now. It's like, it's messed up. And, you know, I think what's messed up even further is that people try to dissuade it as a conspiracy theory. And I think there is a spectrum of people who are paying attention to what's going on with the Free Britney movement right now, where there are the conspiracy theorists and there are the people who know exactly what's on record and like what's going on. And I think people who are buying into the whole like the wear yellow if you're in danger thing, I think that's a little extremist and I think is detrimental to the cause, because what we know is that on record since 2009 she has been applying for leave of the conservatorship, in which it's been denied every single time that she has applied for it. And that's been, if not every year, almost every single year in which that motion always gets denied. And the problem is that whoever is vetting or deeming if she's able and fit enough to get out of it are also appointed by her father and the team of the conservatorship. So it becomes this never-ending cycle. And so like, she's with that lack of autonomy and lack of being able to pick someone who's going to be able to play her voice box, because she literally can't use her own voice in this regard. It's kind of fucked up. So it's like hard. It's hard also, and this goes back to like the misogynistic component of it, because people want to pass off. We already pass off as a society Britney as, oh, we hear her name. It's like, oh, she shaved her head. She's crazy. Whoa.
Yeah.
The Britney fans retain that. You get passed off as the crazy Britney fan. So like at points where like I've been outside of the courthouse when there have been in-person hearings, you know, you'll have the occasional lawyer who isn't involved with the case walking out, some hoity-toity white old dude walking out who's going to make some smarmy comment and like passes it off as like, oh, you, he goes, now I don't know the facts, but like this is not that big of a deal. I said, and it comes down to, but you just admitted you don't know the facts and you're passing us off as crazy fans when we're not asking for anything of like, we don't want new music. It would be great, but we don't want it. Like if she doesn't want it, like we're not, it's not like if it were a conspiracy, that would mean that we're somehow making money. We're not making money off of like knowing what's realistic information. And like, there's public court record. So like I'm gonna slap a fat allegedly right over that entire conversation. But what I will say is we be going by the record, and the record doesn't lie. And there's a lot of public documentation which has been even leaked more so in the past couple of weeks from people who have anonymous accounts on Twitter, that it's verified documentation that hasn't been messed with, and they're calling out contradictions of damage control from her family who have otherwise tried to put out statements in the past 2 weeks. So it's all about, it comes down to the same thing with the Trump administration. Follow the money. And they keep wanting to deflect on the money. I'll put it in layman's terms. Britney's net worth as of right now, let me look, I'm going to Google it, but I think just for verification's sake, it's
like 60, right?
It's like just about 59 million or so, right? So let's just do this. You don't even have to do math for this. Just think about it. So
I know where this is going. I did this yesterday. People need to know.
Yeah. So
I'm so living.
60 million as of 2020 is her assumed net worth. But what's weird is that there's already an alleged amassed net worth of 200 million on top of the, let's look it up just again for fact check's sake, Britney Spears perfume profit. Let's see. That perfume profit, let's see, has grossed over, this is as of 2012, her perfume company empire alone had grossed $1.5 billion. Where's the money?
I'm wondering the same thing. Why is it? Doesn't she have like an iPhone 6?
What?
Like I read somewhere that she has like an old school iPhone.
Well, that's one thing that is always kind of like murky that I'm not sure. So like the thing that we do know is that she does have limited access to finances, and somewhat restriction on phone usage, or at least in the past it had been really tough and like really like not going to use it. I think there are points of leniency. Who knows if they like if she has like an iTouch or some kind of like maybe it's an iPhone that doesn't necessarily have like a full like phone plan or something.
Yeah.
Like there's still a way that it's vetted, and we just don't know to what degree. But we know that's a thing. There's a lot of stuff she's not still allowed to do. She can't drive without an approved guardian in the car. She can't go to a restaurant without approval from the 3 people that run the conservatorship team. She can't, well, granted it's COVID, but like, in normal times, normal, unprecedented, whatever. But there's the basic human experience for the past 12 years. She's not been allowed to participate within. But what's fucked up is that when her father applied for her conservatorship to be installed, he had stated that she was suffering from dementia. But then the problem therein lies is, well, then why are we peddling her on world tours since 2008?
Yeah, she's been performing just fine for years.
And recording albums and flying all over the world, but she's not allowed to have access to her finances. Or making basic decisions like driving her car, which there's a full scene in For the Record where they gamble and incentivize her with surprising her with an on-camera car treat for her to drive around by herself, which I think is so fucked up that they like, it's like surprise. And it's like, oh, you can drive your car alone, but like for the cameras. Like,
yeah, that was at the end where they took her to that like desert and she got in that white car, the convertible.
Yep.
And she just drove off.
Yep.
I remember that. And I was like, I even felt like in the moment, I was like, that's so strange that's like
a little murky, right?
So weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That whole documentary when she, all the times that they caught her like biting her nails and Felicia would be like, stop.
But that's something that I love about her at the same time, though, is like she's someone who wears her emotions on her sleeve, and she's someone who's very clearly like an empathy-driven human being, and she isn't like, she's just like she's a nervous, anxiety-riddled person, and like I even stated earlier in this back and forth with you, like I'm a fucking Italian greyhound, like I get it, my nails are numb. Nail beds are garbage. My knees bob up and down at every second they possibly can, and I can't leave my house. So I can relate to her on like her idiosyncrasy level too. There's something so human and accessible to who she is that I'm like, wow, I don't feel like such a fucking insane person.
She's a Sagittarius, isn't she?
Yeah. I have like a rising Sag moon. I'm a Libra though.
Oh, well, everyone makes mistakes.
I know. Well, I'm a Virgo Libra cusp, so in my defense.
Okay, so that puts you have when's your birthday?
September 23rd.
Okay. I'm an Aries, but I'm like right in the middle of that shit. So I have far too much to say.
Ooh, she's an Aries through and through then.
She is. And it's never a surprise to anybody who knows anything about Aries. They're like, oh yeah, you're an Aries. And that's fine.
That tracks.
Yep. I'm an Aries with a Capricorn.
Capricorn.
Something and a Gemini. Oh, my moon is in Capricorn and my rising is Gemini, I think. I don't know.
I love a Gemini. I always love a Gemini. That's for sure.
They're fun. We're like, because your rising is the initial impression of you. I think the person you put on when you first meet people. So I'm very much a Gemini. And then as people, I guess, get to know me, I am an Aries. And then the Capricorn is something else that I don't know.
Yeah, my extent of knowledge goes to what my rising is. So I guess that does track though, if I have a Sag rising, and that's people's interpretation, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I don't know much about Sagittarius besides Britney Spears.
I know a lot of the pop girlies are Sag, so like that's enough of a takeaway for me.
Yeah. It's interesting like how we relate to certain pop stars, because I am such a huge Gaga stan, and she's also an Aries.
Oh, no way.
So she's March 28th. She's left-handed. She's an Aries.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Oh my God.
Interesting.
I mean like that. I love shit like that. Like I'm not like an astrologist by any means, but I like parallels and I feel like
Yes.
there's meaning in parallel.
We are approaching the end of our time.
God. It felt like a breeze.
Yeah, we did over an hour, I think.
I think that's good, right? A lot of
Yeah.
meat for you to work with.
I don't like a lot of people cut down or like edit. I like if we go, there's some of my episodes that are almost 2 hours because the guest is just so like interesting and none of us have anything to do. So we just sit here for 2 hours. But 10 years from now, where do you see the Bible Girl empire? Are you Bible Girl 111?
I'm probably gonna be Bible girl. This account no longer exists. And that's very down the road. But hopefully, I don't know, maybe 10 years I'll be able to still participate in drag. You never fully quit drag. That's the irony
Yeah.
behind I'm quitting drag. That's why I've always said it from the jump.
You can't.
And the only reason I ever created it is because before I was ever a drag queen, I noticed girls who would get up on their pedestal and say, I'm stepping away. And then of course, give them 3 months and they're back at it. So
Yeah.
but 10 years, I think I want to be in a very happy, comfortable place. I would like to not be living in an apartment building. I would like to have my own home.
Oh, yes.
I would like to still have a sustainable career so I can maintain my boyfriends, most importantly, and my own happiness, while also being able to simultaneously create more good in the world with the business that we've been doing on the back end outside of drag.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving gears that this year alone, and then, I mean, last year was a great growth year, but this year alone, we've been able to adapt strategically on the internals and, figure out ways to streamline doing good while also doing good business. And so that's just something that I hope that we can continue to translate in a decade from now.
Yeah, so that'll be what, 2030. I will be how old?
Oh my God. if the comet doesn't strike, girl.
Girl, at this point, we still have what, 4 or 5 months left of this year? Anything can happen.
I know. We're the aliens.
The dinosaurs are gonna come back.
No, God, we can only hope. That actually be kind of a highlight.
That could be fun.
I'm into that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. So 10 years from now, I will be Carrie the One. I'll be 22 years old.
You had me for a second. I was like, oh my God, she's so seasoned.
No, I'll be 37. Ooh.
Oh my God. How old was I? Oh, yeah. Well, I'll be 36 in 10 years. Give me a month, I'll be 37.
Oh, that's right, because you're in September. So you're about to turn 27.
Yep, joining the club, gal.
27 club.
Hell yeah.
I turned 27 during the quarantine and I took a hybrid edible and cried. So there's that.
Oh, hit you like a wrecking ball. I see.
Oh, it was my first time. Changed the game.
Ever,
bitch.
No.
Oh my God. I told this story so many times on this podcast. People are going to be so sick of me. I don't give a shit though. Go listen to fucking Race Chaser. I don't fucking care. It was like 1,000 milligram hybrid brownie. And I didn't take the whole thing, but I would estimate I took maybe 30 to 50 milligrams worth of it, which is still far too much for a first-time user.
It's a lot. You're probably in and out of sleep while crying.
Yes. I couldn't move my limbs, but at the same time, I was walking around to tell people I couldn't move my limbs.
Oh my God. No, I know that feeling very well. I remember those days.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
and my eyes were so swollen and watery.
We'll take you with a fatty when this is all over. Don't you worry.
Oh my gosh. I now do like a 10 milligram little something.
I like an edible before bed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because then obviously it's going to take a sec to kick in. But once your eyes are shut, and you kind of go into that REM mode anyway. Once it hits, you're out. It's done.
Yeah. I have a few minutes of fun and then I'm just like,
that.
So good. But I do the little pen. That's nice. I have a little disposable pen.
Yes.
So I can control everything. But it changed the game as far as mental health and just being able to relax.
Yes. I love a good just space out, hit the J, play some Paper Mario, Luigi's
Yeah.
Mansion, just like keep it like remind me like what I like remind myself of what inspired me, like what I love, and just like kind of vamp out for a sec. It's nice.
I will fully take a big ass hit of my pen and just watch Lizzie McGuire for hours.
Yeah, Disney Plus that shit.
And then I start critiquing the filming, and I'm like, why is Gordo wearing those pants? They're ill-fitting.
Like
So
3/4
stupid.
length khaki.
Yeah, the fucking cargo ass pants from the early
Yeah.
2000s. And Lizzie always has her hair up in like some sort of crimped, just like
Yep.
2 pieces crimped.
So 2000. I love it.
I'm waiting for the reboot.
Well, yeah. Good.
I'm so mad about the drama.
So pressed. So pressed.
Panini, honey. Just pressed and sizzled. The butter runneth over.
Are you hungry?
I have a flyaway. Hold, please.
Make that sheet.
Ow! Oh, it hurt. That never gets old.
No, it's good. That's a good one.
I like
It
to
is
do it
good.
in the club. Sometimes people take it upon themselves to reach up and they'll see it, like, and they'll just
There you
reach up
go.
and grab it. Sometimes I'll just let them do it and I go, ow! Why would you do that? And they feel so bad.
If it's in a lash, by all fucking means, let me know and you help me get that because those
Yeah.
are impossible to get out.
And I don't usually wear nails, but like the times that I do, the last thing I want to do is like this.
Effective brush, though, I will say.
Yeah. Although nails are still the devil and I hate them.
Yeah, I keep them short.
Yeah. I like those little nubby French tip ones,
I have
the
a
drugstore
vocal-
ones.
Yeah, just like easy, like
Yeah.
7-Eleven press on, keep it cute.
It's like a little something to make you feel dainty. Yep. But,
Something
well,
like that.
tell the people of the internet where they can find you.
Oh, well, you can find me on Instagram at Biblegirl666, all one word, spelled exactly as it sounds. And on Twitter, it's Biblegirl222. Same situation with spelling as Instagram. And you can otherwise find my business at dragqueenmerch.com, and that's at dragqueenmerch everywhere.
For all of your merchandise needs, I own so much drag queen merch. I love buying t-shirts of drag queens. It's like my go-to thing at the gym.
Yep. Keep them scared. Keep them shit.
I had the gyms had just reopened, and so I was just going back again for the first time, and these horrible straight guys came up to me and like, wow, who's that? She's hot. And I was like, that's literally Trixie Mattel. And they were just being so stupid.
Well, that's very kind to Trixie.
I was just like,
great.
"Ooh."
Well, I mean, I guess if her boobs were big enough, any straight guy's gonna be like, "Ugh."
Yeah, they don't know.
Straight men.
I can't. Listen to my ASMR trash bag fashion. People are watching this or listening to this, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, what? Is that a Bath and Body Works candle lid?"
This flavor. Okay, so my drag room, I have a rule that my drag room must smell like a bakery at all times. This is chocolate lava cake.
Shut up.
It smells just like it. Wait, let me show you the two others that I have on reserve.
Hold, please.
I have vanilla pumpkin marshmallow. And
Oh
then
my god.
this one, which I'm never gonna burn because it's so unique, but it's called London Tea and Biscuits. And
Not London tea and biscuits.
it smells like shortbread that had like a lemon like zested over it while it was still hot and buttery. It's like obnoxious how fucking good it's.
Hold on, wait. I have to go grab my candle and see what scent it is. Hold on. Hold, please. Okay, hold on. I have two in my living room that I use, and I switch off. This one is, oh, bitch. Okay, I don't. Hold on. Let me get myself together before I try
Get
to
it
like.
together, get it together.
What the fuck is going on here? What have I done? This is Ocean Driftwood. It has flamingos on the thing,
Ooh.
and it smells like a fresh, like a perfume, but like the summer.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. I have like midnight marshmallow out in the living
I
room.
stan, or like mahogany teak wood is everything.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a Bath and Body Works stan podcast
Bring it
every
on.
week.
Yeah. I'll have the spot.
This one's bourbon. This one is like super manly and delicious. It smells like a sexy man. So good. We stand. Where was I?
Getting high off Bath and Body Works.
Wait, Bath and Body Works poppers?
I think Double Scorpio got to get on that collab real fast.
Let me get them on the phone. Imagine like a cucumber melon or sweet pea popper where you're just like,
I know a guy.
These fell off the track.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna continue sniffing these candles. I dropped my headphone again. Anyways, you can find me on Instagram at Jordan Jayro. That's JordanJayro. It rhymes with J-Lo. Don't fucking play games with me on the mic when you introduce me at a show, trying to call me something else. I like that. Bitch.
Oh my God, did you just realize that it hasn't been recording the whole time?
Shut the fuck up.
I'm kidding.
No! My apple's gonna fall out.
Oh my God. That reaction on your face, that's the gif. That watching your whole face sink, that was pretty good. I won't lie. I can't
this will be like the promotional video that I used to get people to listen to this.
That was really good.
Oh my gosh. You can follow the podcast at Hey Girl Pod on Instagram. You can also email at heygirlpod@gmail.com. Send me nudes, please. We haven't had any nudes to review on the program.
She's asking. Serve her.
Yeah. We've had really great discussions about the naked pictures that we've received here. Have a fierce time in your life.
Thank you. You too.
Oh, if you say so. Shit. It wasn't part of the plan, but
no.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me on this. I really
yes, thank you for doing this.
Super fun. I'm glad we got to meet in the possible capacity that we could possibly meet during these times.
Yeah.
And I look very forward to integrating back into physical community with you.
I can't wait to run into you.
I know, because trust me, when we're friends and we know each other and I know who you are and you know who I am, we're gonna cut a rug. Now it's over. You can't escape.
I'm ready.
Can't.
I have candles. I'm ready.
I'm the virus of drag.
Shit. You started all of this.
Well, I do say always blame Biblegirl. That is true.
It's true. And we always do. So
yeah, true. I am the martyr. It's fine. I'll take it.
Love that. Thank you for doing this. Thank you guys for listening. And until next time, have a fabulous life.
Stay safe. Wear a mask. Wash your hands.
Wash your booty hole.
Yeah, don't forget.
Wash your hands. All that.
All righty.
Bye.